Okay, so do you all remember when last year like those UI animation style edits like suddenly started blowing up everywhere? Every edit I see was like has some kind of like interface animation. So everywhere there's like some editing style that suddenly become a trend. Like when I started editing, everyone was doing candy style edits, and then like an year later, everyone was doing Lauren style edits. And they're like, if you remember in 2018 or 2019, there was like Boca.aep edits everywhere. Honestly, I feel like next year might just end up being the year of mixed media style edits. Seeing all these editing style like pop up over a year like kind of made me start wondering something. Like how different these editing style actually are. Not like which one's better, but like what actually goes into making them. Like techniques, the animation, like the efforts behind them. And so it's just not about like which style is better. It's more about like how much actually goes into making that style. So I actually went like TikTok live and I was with like you all like ranking different editing style on different levels. So we ended up ranking them into 7 different styles. So let's just start with level 1. At level 1, we have template edits. So basically, if you're like new to editing community or you're just not an editor here, these are the edits where you like just put the image or video in and the template basically makes the whole edit for you. You might have seen those before, like those wrinkle edits, and now you're like Kafka type templates. So, and honestly, this can be useful in some situation, like if you need to like quickly make multiple versions of the same thing. But in terms of like editing style, there's like not much going on in here, so that's why it's like at level 1. So there's like really isn't anything below this, because the whole edit is already built. Like all you're just doing is like adding your clips and like, okay, so no hate to the people who use them, because it's just not like really an editing style yet. It's more like using a preset edit. Okay, so level 2, we have velocity style. That is also easy to do. That's why it's at level 2, and it's not like it's a bad thing, because things at level 2 are actually you can like make a lot of things and like in less time. Like you don't like really require that much editing knowledge, and you can make them on different devices. The best part about velocity style is the storytelling, the cadence of like the song choices, and like how you're matching your plays, like where you're cutting that. Sometimes they're like songs, they'll have like lyrics on them, and you match those lyrics with the specific clips. These are like really promotional as well. Like if you are like a label or you make like music or something, or you like have a show, you can like really promote your songs and you can promote your shows, TV shows, using velocity style, because they are tend to go so much viral because it's like easy to watch, and these are like video edits mostly. So like video edits, like you can like connect them to the show, and they do not like look much different from a show. Like it looks like you're just watching a show compilation, like a trailer. So it just feels so like watching a show. That's why it have like really good audience. Yeah, so that was my take on velocity style. Next style we have is warpy style. So this is really interesting because warpy style is not really a style. It's like more like an effect. So like you can like add warps to like different style. Like if you're making a 3D edit, you can add warp to a 3D edit, and it's just not like limited to that. Like a warp isn't like more of an effect, but people consider like warp style, so I'm just gonna consider that here. And just for the same reason, because it's just an effect, cannot like do much of it, so that's why it's at level 2 now. What you can do, like you can add like warp fact, like fisheye, like optical compensation, like turbulent displays, you know. So those are like, it's just limited, like you cannot do like much of it, but like it looks good. Next style is highly controversial, which is judge style.
He's right behind me, isn't he? I knew it! I blew my...
I'm gonna say this before someone comes at me saying, oh, jug style should be higher. I was on the live and everyone was saying put jug style level 1. From what I know and what I hear from people is that it's like a style where you have like fun frame glitches. It's like easy to do, you can do in a light motion. So that's why it's at level 2, because the style of these are I consider, okay, this is my opinion. If you don't agree, it's okay. Next is 15 FPS styles. Okay, they're like different edits I've seen, like really hard to watch for some reason. Okay, 15 FPS style will look so good in motion graphics, but if you're making videos and stuff, it could be like better in like different FPS, but 15 FPS is like too low. So 15 FPS is actually preference, can look good, but it just depends how UI edit. Next is AMV style. I had to consider two different anime video style just for this video, and you will see the next one later on. So AMV style is storyline, like they're like good plots in the animes, and like so I think that's the reason, that's why it should be at level 2 if not level 3. Okay, moving on to level 3, which we have a tons of styles. And first we have typography style, which is coming from the last style we talked about, which is anime music video. They're like kinetic typography edits, they're like lyric video. Okay, I'm just being so specific here, like these are just lyrics, so that's why I'm putting it here. Like you're not like telling a story most of the time, you're just like putting lyrics and like tracking them down with your camera there. So this is why this is at level 3. Style we have is, I don't know actually what you consider that style. It's more like a velocity edit, but like with scale, position, like shakes and stuff. So this style is, if you guys know, there's an editor called 94E. And what I like about this is you take that velocity edit, like the good thing about velocity, there's not that thing, but like the storytelling and all, and you make that into a transition edit. Like there are like so many possibilities in this. Yeah, so that was 94E style. So next at level 3 we have book talk style and comic style. So these are two different styles, but they have like around the same thing. Okay, this look at like a lot of amount of knowledge of the book itself and like the character arc, and if you're like making plot like you're changing their way and like fan fiction thing, so those require like a lot of time to even think about those things and like then make the whole thing. Okay, next we have is glitch style, which is one of my favorite style to do. You can do so much with this style, but at the same time it's like more of an effect on a different style. You have a different editing style and you add glitch effects to them. So the last style we have at level 3 is iPod commercial, and I feel like this edit is like so specific, like things you use, like the effects you use, the colors you use, like desaturated colors sometimes, and like all these effects and all these visuals, these are like so. Okay, at level 4 we have ship style. So ship style is like actually something that I like to do, and it's, you can say like it's similar to the book talk style or 94E style or velocity style. There's also like different possibilities of adding like 3D effects or adding anything like different colors, like story arc. So it requires you to have like knowledge of different editing styles, and sometimes they're like character like completely opposite and you're making a fan fiction about them. Like those things requires a lot of time, and I feel like this is the perfect place to add ship style, just below level 3. Next we have is UI animation style, which I was saying that this was popular last year everywhere. Like everyone was doing this. It made like editing mainstream and people started like commissioning like different editor. Some people even started using like Blender and stuff, and this is like actually so useful, but I don't know how long it's gonna stay. It's just like too much overuse. Like if you're doing that style, I would like really suggest you to start adding like different components, so like you like change it a little bit so you can make like your own different editing style. Next we have is Baddie style, which is just so good. Like Baddie style like really requires you have to be so specific about your crafts, how you're like presenting a character. I wouldn't say like aggressive, but like aggressive in the best way possible. And the last style at level 4 we have Lauren's style, and so Lauren's a fellow editor.
Hey guys, it's Lauren. Right off the bat, these are all of my socials, and you should go follow.
Who also make like these editing related content, and she have actually made her own style. It's just so creative in the sense like you would never know what's coming after. I was actually there when it was like coming. So it started back in I think was 2022, and which she was actually doing way back. Like I remember one of the edits she posted, which had this like 3D card thing. It was actually a collab between Lauren and CNN before, and so that like really influences her new style, which they call it Lauren style. Okay, level 5 we have 3 styles. The first style we have is mixed media style, which I think will blow up in the next upcoming year or this year, because I've seen like a lot of people doing that. It requires like a lot of effort. Like you're like having different frames and you're like drawing on them. Some people like to like print out frames of the edit and then they like draw in real life, then they scan it. And the reason I put at level 5 because it requires you to have like different softwares. Another reason is it requires you to have like good art style. Like okay, so the next style we have is soft style, which is so broad. What I mean by soft style, you have to be so specific about what clips you're using, what color you're using, what PNG you're using. Is that PNG matching with the theme or like the person you're editing? And most of the soft style are photo edits, and they require you to have like masking. Like you have to like mask out different like pictures, and then you have to like sometimes people animate like heart ribbons or something. Okay, so this could be like at level 4 as well, but after like talking with other people on TikTok live, we ended up placing at level 5. Okay, next we have at level 5 is manga animation, and if you know, these are like one of the coolest and the most time consuming things. So you're basically making a video from a photo. It requires you to have like specific editing apps. Like so most of the people I know, they use like Photoshop and then they animate it in After Effects. Yeah, let's move to level 6. So the first style we have is called experimental style. So this is basically hyper pop but for editing style. So this style like consists of like so many different shapes. Sometimes like it's just so much exaggerated elements in this, and they just work. They just make sense for like the edit itself. It's like it needs to be like intentional in a way that you need to know what you're doing, and like it's like hard to explain. So we decided to put it at level 6, like me and everyone on the live. Okay, so the next style we have is called Boca.aep style, which is kind of nostalgic. The style is basically like different 3D shapes. Everything is like so well done in this style. So I started seeing like people making this like their own style. Like they started from Boca.aep style, but then they move and change to make their own style. Next we have is like similar to Boca.aep style, but it's like more advanced, and it's called 3D edit. So 3D edit is like if you're using like Element 3D, Cinema 4D, or even is like Unreal Engine, or so it requires you to have like a specific software, and you cannot do that with your AE, or not normally not on AE. I have seen like people doing that on AE. They're lightning stuff, and they're like if you're doing some simulations, like those things really like you can only do that on Blender, and that's just a fact. Those are the things that those apps are made for. So the last style we have is something that I used to, which is candy style, and there are like a lot of versions of candy style. This is a style that is here for like almost 15 years. Like I have seen some edits from 2011 or 10 when people are doing like candy style, and like it's just so ancient, and then it changed a lot throughout the time. I remember when I started, people were remaking a lot of Bananas edit, and she's a fellow editor and she's just so good. And I know like few editors who like try to implement that style into different editing styles, and they really work. Like they just made their own editing style. I seen like people using that candy style thing on the 19.4e style. I remember like editing up to like 1,000 pre-comp. I'm putting that in level 6, but I have like made 2 versions of candy style. So there's like candy style, the normal one, and there's 3D candy style. Let's move to level 7. And so I've seen like people doing a lot of creative transitions after this 3D candy style was introduced. Okay, so in level 7, the last style we have is motion graphic, and this one's a bit like different from everything else on this list. So I'm just gonna read out the Wikipedia page on what is motion graphic. So the Wikipedia page says, motion graphics, sometimes called as MoGraph, are pieces of animation or digital footage that create the illusion of motion or rotation, and are usually combined with audio for use in multimedia projects. While any form of experimental abstract animation can be called motion graphic, the term typically more explicitly refer to the commercial application of animation and effects to the video, film, TV, and interactive applications. So, and the reason this is at level 7 is because it requires like pretty much everything. You need like timing, you need to know animations, design sense, and you're not like really relying on preset or just clips anymore. So this is kind of where editing turns into motion design. So that was all the style. Those were the 7 levels of editing style. Again, this isn't about like which style is better, it's just like how much actually goes into making them. So let me know in the comments what levels you think your editing style is, or if you think I should have placed some things higher or lower. I'm actually like really curious to see like what you'll think and like what editing style you edit. Just put like everything in the comments. I'm just hoping this video helps you figure out what you want to try next. You can check out my edits on my Instagram, TikTok, and all of that. But yeah, that's just for this video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.